Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Josh YouTube channel. Where today it is Premier League predictions for week 12. It is meant to be the Josh and Reece predictions, but Reece, unsurprisingly, and kind of expectedly, hasn't actually came yet. I don't know if he's going to be super late or if he's fell asleep, but thankfully, Nathan was already in place to be on the show. So it's the Josh and Nathan predictions on the three still to play up here whatever time. So Nathan, thank you very much for coming on. I feel actually a good thing you did come on, otherwise I'd be sat here kind of not knowing what to do.
That's all right. Thank you for having me on, actually. But apart from that, yeah, disappointed that the international break is over now that I've got to watch Cardiff City. But yeah, apart from that, thanks for having me on.
So I think I'll pick up with Josh and Reece. I'm not going to try and pronounce your name. I would butcher that name so hard. If you want to give it a go, you're more than welcome. But nah,
Lokman Yunus Singh Engine.
There we go. Hello, Solo. Hello, Stephen. Thank you very much for tuning in. Appreciate having me on your channel there the other day. Hello, Zoe. Hello, Zoe. Sorry, Zoe. So, thank you very much for coming in. Steve, I'm looking forward to this. Well, thank you very much for coming around. Hi, Nathan. Yes, I know Nathan. Nathan wasn't, but Nathan's kind of just appeared. But he does have a bit of Nathan. Join me your YouTube channel, and I'll subscribe to you.
Chat now.
And then obviously, well done to Wales. Obviously, getting a seeded, is it a home spot, isn't it, for the playoffs?
Yeah, home spot of the playoffs. Our actual home instead of those what I like to call Wales plastics or Swansea fans who absolutely hate playing at our actual home stadium. So it will be at home this time, over the moon.
So in this video, everyone knows this video is Premier League prediction. So let's get talking about the Premier League and week 12. All right, so week 12 is going to be week 12 is going to some very big fixtures. Obviously, some managers making their managerial debuts. Hello, Anthony. Just to say, well, Anthony has arrived. I will be doing a Chelsea Leicester preview with him tomorrow at 7 o'clock, same place, same time here on this channel with Anthony. So, if you're interested in seeing that, remember to check it out. That's going to be live here. So, and Jay as well, if it's not two of my favorite people, hello Josh and Nathan and Chad. Thank you very much, Jay, for coming in. Hope you're doing very well. So first game, half 12 kickoff on the Saturday, Leicester City and Chelsea at the King Power Stadium. And can I just say, I absolutely despise early kickoffs. I despise them with a passion for all sorts of bloody reasons. But Chelsea do travel to a Leicester City side that are struggling at the moment. Normally they start off strong and kind of job off. Maybe it's going to be the opposite. Maybe they're going to struggle at the start and then job off towards the end, or start kicking on at the end. Leicester currently 12th with 15 points. Chelsea currently top of the league on 28 points. So, Chilwell, you 12. Yeah, I know your stance on Chilwell. I'm sure you're going to make your point very clear tomorrow night on your stance on Chilwell. But in terms of this, Chelsea, I know Lukaku and Timo Werner are back in training. Do not expect them to start this game. They'll probably be on the bench at least. And Leicester do normally turn up and have very good performances against the so-called bigger teams, especially at the King Power Stadium. We've all seen what they did to Manchester United a few weeks ago, even though they were in quite a bad run of form at that point. For me, I'm going to actually say that I would actually say, as a non-biased take, I think Chelsea are going to get a draw here. There's very little time for both managers to work with their teams. I know Yuli Tielemans is out for a few weeks. He got injured in international duty with Belgium. And Chelsea are going to be missing quite a few players, and there's going to be definitely some issues with, I think, like Jorginho. I know Jorginho has a bit of a fitness issue. I know Kai Havertz is the same. Thiago Silva probably won't feature because he's coming back from Brazil. So both teams missing key players. It's an early kickoff after the international break. There's not going to be much time to do much in training pitch. So for me, I do see this as a 1-1. I don't think. I think it's going to be a really ugly game. But if Chelsea come away with a point at the King Power, I think I would bite your hand off given the circumstances. Nathan, what do you think?
It's a tough one for me, really, because looking at Leicester's form, it has been fairly up and down, but they have had a really difficult run of fixtures, to be fair to them. But with Chelsea's form at the moment, though, I mean, you could take it either way, but Chelsea have had a really good run of fixtures and done well with it, and Leicester have had a really tough run of fixtures and also done well with it. So I'm split on this one, but with the way that Leicester has started the season and losing that sort of momentum coming off international break, I think Chelsea are just going to edge it 2-1.
No, Chelsea to 2-1. Just to say, but Chelsea will have you on your channel. Absolutely, I will absolutely be there. Obviously, I think we played each other, what, 2-3 weeks, Manchester United, if I'm not mistaken. So, absolutely. So, in terms of other predictions, so we've got Leicester to win 2-1. I hope not. I absolutely hope not. Yeah, Chelsea one, so agrees with me. It's going to be a 1-1. I do think it is going to be a dodgy one. I think coming off the last international break, I remember the lineup that Thomas Tuchel played, and it had Hudson-Odoi wing back, Saul in midfield. It was a very makeshift back three. It's just the international break's horrible. I despise the fucking thing. Anne says 2 on Leicester. Screw you. Stephen says 1-8. Shane O'Donnell says 2-1 Chelsea. Damo Amarty masterclass. He's had good games against Chelsea in the past. And then hello PPL, thank you very much for coming in. 2-1 Chelsea. And hope you're right. I hope you and Nathan are right. If you go far, I'll send you to vote for a beer over the wheels. So Nathan would actually take that because he loves a good beer, don't you, Nathan?
Wait, what? You completely broke up then loads. I didn't hear a word of that.
I was just saying, you do love a good beer at the weekend, don't you?
I'm sure absolutely, mate.
So first of all, moving on to our first managerial debut, it is Steven Gerrard, Aston Villa, taking on Brighton at Villa Park. Yeah, this is a difficult one to call because we just don't know what we're going to get from Aston Villa at all, but Steven Gerrard is going to only have, probably 2 days to work with his team before to prepare them for Brighton. He's obviously had the players that haven't gone on international, but he won't be full in a sense with some of his better players until today when they've returned, and even today for recovery sessions. So I do fancy Brighton. I think Villa Park will be bouncing. I do think the atmosphere is going to be good, but I think Brighton are going to be more prepared, and I feel like this is a very difficult game. I think this is probably really bad circumstances for Steven Gerrard to take over. I just don't think we'll see Aston Villa play particularly well. He'll probably be a lot of what Dean Smith had before. I just don't think we'll see much of a game plan, much of a collectiveness. But Brighton have been firing on all cylinders. They look good. They look very good week in, week out, and I do fancy them here on the road. I think it'll be a 1-0 win. I think it'll be a key. I see a lot of these games being cagey, but I think it'll be a 1-0 win. I think the atmosphere of Villa Park will make the game exciting, but I think Brighton just tactically be a bit more obviously astute to what they're doing on the ground part and what Aston Villa will be under Steven Gerrard.
Yeah, I think Villa are going to massively take this over the line. Looking at Brighton recently, no wins in 6, lots and lots of draws there. The thing is, I find a lot with Brighton, they're not scoring many goals. They're playing their hippie football. It looks good and everything, but when you take a bigger, deeper dive into it, it's not actually paying off for them. But with Villa at the moment, they really need a new manager bounce. And with the squad they have, if Steven Gerrard in the time he's got can make it gel as soon as he can with some of those players and with a proper game plan, because I think they will suit his game plan a lot more. And for me, it was about, I think Dean Smith should have gone earlier, maybe at the end of last season, and then brought some winning, because the Villa owners have a vision for it, but Dean Smith is not the right man to take that vision forward. So it should have happened much earlier. But at the end of the day, I think Villa are going to go on a nice run of form now, and Brighton, they're going to start to get found out after they had a strong start to the season. But it's Brighton, isn't it? Their form comes in waves, as I always say. So I'm going to go 2-0 to Aston Villa.
Aston Villa, that's a good show. So Helly says 2-1 Brighton. Paul says 1-1. Says 2-1, and Solo says it's going to be a 1-0 Brighton. I do agree. As I said, for all the reasons that Solo's kind of said, I just think it's a bad time for Steven Gerrard to come up. At least he's at home, because I think that makes a big difference. Can he sort out that Villa defense though? Well, that's what I kind of mean. He's only going to have 2 days to really train with his team and figure out his players, and also I just don't really see. And to be fair, the Rangers' defense was never really, except for the year they won the league. Other than that, even this year, when Rangers' defense hasn't been particularly great, I don't think they haven't kept that many clean sheets, even against the likes of the lower teams. So I don't think they conceded 2 goals to St. Mirren at Ibrox. I think, if my memory's not right. So
the thing is, with go on.
No, you go ahead.
The thing I find with Steven Gerrard is as long as he can get his attack working and his midfield strong, then enough goals will go in the one end, which means that, yes, that you can let a few in, but at the same time, on the other side of the pitch, he will have that team firing on all cylinders. I mean, he's got the likes of Danny Ings, Leon Bailey. The list goes on and on and on with their good attacking options. John McGinn's been superb this season as well. So I think it's a perfect fit for him.
So moving on to Turf Moor, Burnley taking on Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace obviously kind of enjoying life in the Premier League at the moment. Burnley getting a very good but dodgy draw at Chelsea, which that draw really annoyed me. It was just Burnley all over. But I actually do fancy Burnley to get a win against Crystal Palace. I think they're due. Reece looks different. Yeah, I don't know where Reece just hasn't turned up. Munzie, thank you very much for coming in. Yes, Charles, hope you're well. Hope you're well together. Reece just didn't turn up. That's literally the best answer. I don't know what he's doing, but he just hasn't turned up. So thankfully Nathan's here. But I can't. I too like to change the name on the thumbnail now. So yeah, I do actually fancy Burnley to get a win at Crystal Palace. I think it's about time Burnley win at home. Normally, when Sean Dyche gets a good draw against one of the bigger teams, they normally kick on from there. And I feel like they're going to make this game really ugly and gritty and sluggish, and that is normally and this young Crystal Palace team haven't came up against a really physical side like Burnley yet, and I haven't had to really play a proper big ugly game like Burnley yet, and I feel like Patrick Vieira will kind of struggle against that. So for me, yeah, I'm going to go for a 1 each. Sorry, I think he's going one no Burnley. Sorry, my fault.
Yeah, I think he's going to struggle a little bit with it, but we're looking at some of Burnley's recent games, especially at that good run of form. Yes, they did get that ugly draw with Chelsea and they beat Brentford, but Brentford have been in dire straits ever since, and they could have had some winnable games there. But looking at the way Palace have been playing recently, yes, they haven't been tested, but I really do like the way that they line out in defence. I think Conor Gallagher and players like that, especially Wilfried Zaha as well, they're going to get massively cancelled out of the game. So they're going to have to rely on others to get it through. But if they play their set pieces right and really make sure that they lock up at the back, I think they'll be able to grind out a 1-0 here. So 1-0 Palace for me.
Oh, no, I do. I think it's one of these games. I don't see the ending in a draw. It's probably going to end 0 each. I don't have just said that, but I think Burnley will either.
He's calling for it.
I think Burnley will. I think Burnley will either really make it really difficult because this Crystal Palace team have not had to play a team like Burnley yet, and I think their two centre backs, Mark Gucci, and I think it's Anderson, who's the other one.
Yeah, Gigi and Anderson.
They haven't came up against a big physical striker like Chris Wood or Ashley Barnes yet, so I feel like that could work. So we've got 2-1 to Crystal Palace. We've got 2-1 Brighton for the previous game. We've got 1-1. Burnley at Turf Moor is so difficult it is, and that's why I feel like this young Palace team will struggle. But 0 each other is probably going to be 0. Luckily, you're a Crystal Palace and Burnley fan, we don't have to watch this. So, and still in the house, well, at least Munzie's bringing in some of that slang, cool talk, even though he's probably the oldest in the chat. And big up Munzie talk. I say I love the love in the chat. It's like what we love to say. So on to Eddie Howe's managerial debut. He's taking on Brentford. I see Newcastle winning this game. Manager bounce at St James's. St James's is going to be bouncing. Brentford are struggling. They're starting to concede a lot of goals. They've kind of lost their flair. Maybe been slightly figured out, or maybe it was just a bounce from coming up, which we have seen plenty of times. So yeah, I do see Newcastle winning this. I think Eddie Howe is going to get these. I do see Crystal Palace. I see Crystal Palace. I do see Newcastle United doing very, very well here. Going to go 2-0. I'm going to go 2-0 Newcastle. They'll be 1-0 by at least half time. I just don't. I feel like this is a very difficult game for Brentford to come back into because St James is going to be bouncing, and there's definitely going to be a managerial bounce here for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the memes have said it all this week with all the Newcastle fans going, "Oh look, Eddie Howe is actually coaching our team. We haven't had that in years," which is just amazing to see. But they're going to get a huge bounce. But St James's Park has been rocking ever since the takeover, of course, rightfully so as well. Because out of all the clubs who deserve it, I'd say it'd be Newcastle. But yeah, Brentford, it's not their attack that I have the problem with. Yes, they have had a hard run of fixtures, but losing to Burnley and Norwich says it all, really, who they are in a relegation battle with. But I don't know. I think their defence has come unstuck and they need something a bit stronger in there because when you're playing the likes of Pontus Jansson and that five at the back, it's not going to work long term in the Premier League for me. Going forward, superb. Going back, they just need something there. And I'm tough one. I think Newcastle will just sneak it 2-1. I think Brentford will score, though.
Solo Smash Like, let's get 15 guys. Sure, you. Thank you very much. So I really do appreciate you coming in and being like that. Oh, Josh, I'm not adult. I won't expose you. I won't expose you live on stream Monday. I'm not like that. Well, 1-0 to Newcastle, 1-1, 1-1, 3-1 Newcastle, and then 3-2. That'll be some game, though, 3-2. But with that Newcastle and Brentford defense, I wouldn't actually put that out of question. I do think that is a possibility. And I think Newcastle fans would seriously be worried if that was the case, because they need to win and they need to win. I think they're the only team that's still winless in the Premier League, aren't they? I think
Yeah,
even
only
Norwich
team
got
that's
to win.
winless.
Only Norwich, even Norwich got a bloody win before though. Talk about Norwich.
That was a miracle.
Norwich are playing Southampton at Carrow Road. Like, first of all, oh my, this is such a downgrade for Dean Smith. I can't believe exactly Dean Smith and also Craig Specshire, who has joined him as his assistant manager, backroom staff at Aston Villa. It is such a downgrade for these two. You know, when you look at what they had at Aston Villa in terms of the squad, the backing, to go to Norwich here, let's be fair, probably gone. There's no way he keeps them up. I know he's a decent manager, but if he was struggling with that Villa squad, he's going to struggle with this Norwich team. And I just don't see. I talk about the new manager points out very high. It's not going to happen with Dean Smith. Yes, maybe they'll play it slightly better, but no, I see Southampton are starting to kick on. The squad of the Ralph Belgian summer starting to click. They're starting to play really well again. I'm going to say it's going to be a. It's not going to be like a. If Daniel Farr was in charge, I'd be talking about a 3 or 4-0, but I think it'll be a 2-0 win. I think Norwich will play better, but there's no way Dean Smith can sort the squad out within such a short amount of time, at least this week. So I feel like there's going to be in for another long Saturday game. It's going to be a 2-0 win for Southampton.
I've got to be honest, and I know this is controversial, but I think from this point on, now they got rid of Daniel Farke, Norwich are going to get so much worse because he's had the system in place there that is sort of unique from other managers as well, especially seeing it in the Championship. But yeah, Dean Smith, looking at his past few jobs as well, Villa, he had all the foundations in place for him. Brentford was like a pre-season work in progress, and then the same at Warsaw as well. He's not going to have enough time with this job, and he's going to end up getting sacked in a few months, I think. But listening to Delia Smith earlier this week on Good Morning Britain did ring some alarm bells for me. She said, but she didn't want to sack Daniel Farke, which just goes to show the lack of ambition and the long-term sort of plan with the club, up and down, up and down, up and down, trying to get as much parachute money as possible. And that reinforced the fact when she said earlier that the club has no money to invest at all and they're not going to spend anything in January. I mean, she's literally keeping them afloat by doing things like a food and wine tasting things at Carrow Road and trying to self-fund it that way because they literally have no money there. And she straight up said that on Good Morning Britain. And if they have, and yeah, she wasn't optimistic about them going straight back up if they go down anyway. But this is going to be a long road down for Norwich now. They're not going to get much points this season, and that team is going to be massively found out. New system, you'll realise the squad is worth of bang average Championship players, which it is, because Daniel Farke was getting the best out of the players from what he's got. But when they get relegated next season, they're definitely a mid-table Championship side at best. So I'm going to go for 2-0 Southampton.
So 2-0 Southampton. What's Solo going with a draw, which you could maybe put a question, but I don't think Norwich is that good. 3-1 Southampton. They will need to sell before they can buy. But the thing is, he's going to buy their players. They've got Todd Cantwell, and Tim Krul, maybe the only two players that you could arguably say they would buy. But yeah, and see with a bold 1-0 Norwich. Right,
actually, I don't think anyone would even buy Tim Krul, mainly because he is in his mid-30s now. Sort of like your Ben Foster's around there. Great goalie, but edging so close towards retirement that they're not going to get a move in the future. But Cantwell, you probably get about 10 to 15 million for him, but that's probably the best for me.
The one positive about Daniel Farke is that he was so stubborn that he refused to use the loan player. So at least Billy Gilmore and Brandon Williams are going to get a bit more time and actually have a good 100%. Loan experience, which is that at least that's the only positive I can take from it. Moving on to, which is maybe a bit more of a hard game to call it, is Watford taking on Manchester United at Vicarage Road. Fuck off. Watford and Manchester United. Yeah, this is a difficult one to call because these are two teams that are not particularly playing very well. I know Watford did get a win at Everton, but I don't think Watford really were that good. I think Everton gifted. You look at the goals that Everton conceded against Watford.
Yeah,
They were so easy to score. And this Watford team, the squad, it's unbalanced. I don't think it's particularly great, especially the defense is just old.
It's very top heavy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a very top heavy team, and I just don't see any balance in this. And I think Claudio Ranieri, he's going to be sacked probably before the new year or just after the new year. I just don't see what he can do with his team.
For me, he's going to be gone in February because with the Watford owners, they might give him a bit of money, but with what we've seen before with Claudio Ranieri teams is that they're just allergic to defending. And that's massively the case with Watford with what we've seen this season. But they score a lot of goals. So yeah, I think he will be gone Feb.
I do think Manchester United will win this game. I don't think United will play particularly well, but I just don't see the likes of Jadon Sancho, Bruno Fernandes, Mason Greenwood, Marcus Rashford, Ronaldo. I just find they don't beat this Watford team. But there's nothing about this Watford team that really give me any sort of reason for United not to win this game, regardless of how bad United are playing. So I think United will probably edge this game 1-0.
Yeah, I'm going to say a sneaky 1-0 last win at Nick. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be like this a lot of the time this season. The defense has been completely found out. They've got no continuity going forward, no man management. And I got to be honest, it's going to be a grim while until the Glazers actually produce a brain, if they've got one between them, and actually sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I've been saying it for years. Completely the wrong appointment.
So 2-1 for me if that happens. I
won't stop laughing.
I don't know where United go from there. Helly actually goes for 4-1 United. She never actually does predictions for United, as she said there. So you must be feeling confident, Helly, if you're actually if you're willing to put your neck out on there. United won't play until I don't want to know how you feel about Ollie. I know you're very much Solskjaer out, but unfortunately you're going to be stuck with him for quite a while. So moving on to the Molineux Wolves taking on West Ham. Now this is an interesting game. I like this game. I think this game's a good game to call. I think Wolves are starting to get results. They've been better. They've been getting a bit more good. Their run of form has been slightly better in the last couple of weeks. But West Ham obviously probably just been as they were last year. It is a difficult one. I'm going to go with a draw. I think it's a good video. I think Wolves are going to play. I think Wolves are going to get a good result here. I'm going to say 2 each. I like where Wolves are going. I still don't think Wolves defensively are particularly there. Defensively, all that defensive, shape and goodness they had under Nuno is not under Lee. Obviously, they're a fairly opposite team to what they were under Nuno. And I think at home against a West Ham team that's in form, and they definitely have the attacking players to hurt West Ham. They've got a South Korean striker. They've got Adam Traore. They've got Raul Jimenez, Adam Traore. They've definitely got the players to hurt West Ham. And I feel like it's going to be a game where I think West Ham will probably struggle a bit on the road. They will have these games, so I have 2 each in this one. What do you think?
I sort of disagree on this one. We're looking at Wolves recently. Yeah, as you highlighted, defensively they haven't been that good, but they've been getting the goals. And with the way that West Ham have been playing recently, isolating that and overloading at the other end of the pitch, I think Wolves are going to really struggle in this one. And and for me, it's another team that their form comes in waves. And I think their momentum from before the international break has just been absolutely murdered. So for me, I'm just too impressed by West Ham at the moment, to be honest. I'm going to go 3-1.
3-1. I can see why, to be fair, because West Ham are playing really well. But it's just I'm going with my sneaky gut here. West Ham will win 3-0, 2-1 West Ham, 3-2 West Ham.
That'll be a good game.
It'll be some game. Even though we're not on to this game as of yet, 3-1 Liverpool for Arsenal. If you're not here, look when we come to that, then at least your predictions there. Obviously, we will come on to that game. But actually, we're coming to that game, aren't we? Oh, yes, we are. That's actually next game. It is Liverpool and Arsenal. There we go. Liverpool, Arsenal at Anfield. This is one which I am kind of struggling in my head to call because Arsenal, don't get me wrong, Arsenal have started maybe, I think think they're unbeaten in the last 6, maybe 7.
Yeah.
I don't. So they are in a good run of form. They obviously aren't in Europe, so they've had a lot more time on a training pitch, which I did say at the start of the season was probably going to benefit them in the end. But this Liverpool team, who I do think have been blown hot and cold throughout the season in terms of level performances. Some weeks they play like Liverpool that you'd expect, which is high score and really good to play against. Other times they have been a bit underwhelming, and they are definitely conceding goals. But Mikel Arteta's kind of form and his style of play against the so-called bigger teams, isn't particularly great. He did beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge last year, and he did also get the result against a very poor Spurs in Derby this season. But I see when he's came up against Jurgen Klopp in the past or come up against Pep Guardiola, he has really, really, really struggled, and I just don't see him going to Anfield. Regardless, I know Liverpool are short. I think Sadio Mane is fit, and I know they're short in midfield, Liverpool, but I still just don't see how Liverpool don't win this game. Arsenal are good. I think Arsenal are slightly improved, but they're no way. I think when it comes to going man to man against Liverpool at Anfield, it's not going to end well. So I think it's going to be a 2-1 with Arsenal scoring first.
Yeah, it's a tough one for me as well, but I don't know, with the way that Arsenal have been playing against the sides upper in the table. I'll never like to say the top 6 or anything, as you guys know, but it's just Liverpool coming off the back of this international break, and away. Hopefully Van Dijk will get his form back and stuff, and they can get a bit of continuity in the defense. And really, for me, they need a few, especially with their fullbacks as well. They need to produce better defensively too. But I don't know. I can't see Arsenal scoring in this one, to be honest. I think Arteta, he's going to go in with a completely wrong game plan in this, and I'm going to go 3-0 Liverpool.
Also, this would be just a funny thing about Arsenal. They've got a goal difference of 0, which is 11 games in. I think that's a bit weird. Like, but that's I just don't think. I think Arteta too. You give credit to Arteta. I do think he's improved. I do think he's improved. Arsenal, they are definitely better than what they were, but at the same time, I just don't think. I think against the bigger managers, especially on the road and stuff, I just don't think he's still got that figured out yet. Frank Lampard was no different. Lampard did struggle. Exactly the same.
Yes.
So we're going through wonderful. Hello, Macy, Devil United. Thank you very much for tuning in, saying hello, popping your face in. 2 each, Liverpool and Arsenal. 3-1 Liverpool, and Liverpool 3-1. Salah score. Salah score 2, Mane score 1, and then Smith Rowe to goal for Arsenal, which I'm assuming will be a consolation. I do like Alex Smith Rowe to be a very good player. So on to the Sunday kickoffs. Manchester City taking on Everton. I'm going to say, listen, Rafa Benitez has had a bit of a bad patch with Everton. They are missing, to be fair, their best striker in Double Cavalier. They are missing, I think, one of their star members. They are missing, a few midfielders. They are missing, I think they're missing their starting right back too. So Rafa Benitez is missing a lot of players. He is struggling to kind of figure out, where to put the pieces in the jigsaw at the moment. And so someone's look
hey,
who's turned up.
Finally.
38 minutes.
Well, to be fair, I wasn't on a stream, lads. You can't really blame me, can you?
Well, you could have told me. We could have started later.
I was going to start 8 o'clock, but it got changed to 6 o'clock. So then it was quite changed, so I had to do that. So you can't really blame me. So what games you run through?
Well, okay. Well, I'll just read out the game and you give us your prediction then, because we're on the Sunday. So we'll
fire through.
Leicester City and Chelsea.
Right, Leicester City 2, Chelsea 2.
Villa and Brighton.
3-0 Brighton.
3-0 right. Burnley and Palace.
3-2 4-1 Palace.
Newcastle and Brentford.
2.
Oh, we didn't hear your prediction. You muted your mic while you were speaking.
I said 2-1 Brentford.
Norwich City and Southampton.
2-0 Southampton.
Watford and United.
3-0 Man United.
Wolves and West Ham.
2-0 Wolves.
And Liverpool and Arsenal.
3-1 Arsenal.
3-1 Arsenal at Anfield.
Wow.
Whoa. All right, then. Hello, Douglas. Thank you very much for tuning in. My Scottish, tall, big, giant friend. I don't know where I was going with that, so I kind of just rhymed as went along. So hopefully that was maybe a better way of introducing you to what you're used to. So as I was saying about obviously the games, as I was saying there about City and Everton. Everton are just missing a lot of key players. 3-1 Arsenal. Jesus Christ. I just said, Reece, that may come back. That may come back to haunt you on Monday night on the Run podcast. I don't think Doug's gonna let you live that down. But yeah, I see Manchester City beating Everton 3-0. Everton are missing a lot of players. Rafa Benitez is not really hasn't really got this team as organised as you normally see a Rafa Benitez team. City at the Etihad will probably just have another field day like they normally do. They'll score early and then Everton will be on the ropes from then 3-0 City, comfortable. Nathan, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna go for 3-0 Man City as well. I think it's just gonna be comfortable for them, like you said, really. But the thing is with Everton, what I've seen recently is just the defending. And yes, they have players missing, but it's just not enough for them, really.
Reece, what do you think? I think you shake your head. You're also in disagreement.
Yeah, I'm going 1-1 draw. I'm going 1-1 that one. I don't think City are in the best of form, even though they had a particularly good game against United. But Everton as well, they're quite a solid side when they really want to be. So, yeah, I'm going to go like 1-0 draw.
And then on to, I believe, which is the final game of week 12. It is Mr. Antonio Conte taking his first home game in the Premier League, I should say, against Leeds. This is a difficult one because Leeds, obviously, this season has not been the Leeds what we expected last year. But the question is how good. Spurs were dreadful against Everton. In the last week, and he hasn't particularly had any more time to work with this team. So I do wonder. For me, it's like a question of who he can, who's going to be taking their chances more against two defenses that aren't going to be. I don't think are particularly at it. But Conte normally, in a case like this, I feel like Conte will make this game ugly. He'll probably make Leeds feel a bit uncomfortable, and I feel like we'll edge it. I don't see Leeds scoring. I think Spurs will go 1-0 up, and then I think they will do what he does and a good organised defence. So I see this game being a kind of a. It's kind of weird saying this. It's weird saying this for a team that's playing Leeds. I do see it being low scoring simply because one team's not informing the other team isn't tactically well yet to Conte's system. 1-0 Spurs, Harry Kane scoring a goal.
Yeah, it's difficult for me to say, really. Like, Leeds, they've been really woefully defensively as well, but going forward, it has been impressive. I mean, you can attack, but at the same time, you can't defend, but that's going to drop you down the table like a stone. And then Tottenham, for me, Conte's had time on the training ground with them, and he should really be getting his system into play now. But it's the question for me whether the Spurs defense can cope with the pace of Leeds going forward, like Rafinha and Dan James as well. Dan James was absolutely spectacular in the international break with Wales, and how on earth he didn't get a goal. I think he did get an assist or two. He was superb. He was absolutely superb in that international break. But tough one for me. I think Spurs will just about edge it by the skin of their teeth. I'm going for 3-2.
3-2. That's very different to my prediction. Reece, what do you think?
I'm going Tottenham to absolutely dissect Leeds. I've gone 4-1.
4-1. Wow.
Yeah, I think you'll see. I think you'll see the best of like Conte against certain teams, especially in this game where it's like open space where they can dominate the ball dynamically, and then show the counter attack as well, like to perfection. I think just watch like this weekend. I think this will be a very good game for Tottenham, and I think if you're a Leeds fan, I would literally pray that the toilet seats are good enough to keep the diarrhea in check because they're going to be shitting it all weekend.
Some trollology that. 2-0, 1-1. Heli fancy Leeds to get a draw, and then Doug says, "Don't know if I like the dislike button." But I don't really know how to feel about it. I've never paid attention to likes or dislikes, really.
I think it's a bad decision personally because it basically doesn't reflect on where you need to improve.
Yeah, I agree.
But
then again, it does cancel out the absolute sad morons who just dislike the video the second it goes up, like I had with the Wales video the other day.
If you dislike the video, it should ask you for a reason saying why do you dislike it.
Yeah, I agree.
Like that's an improvement rather than just removing it. I think that's the stupidity of Google and YouTube.
I haven't checked it, but surely if I go into YouTube Studio as the creator, I should be able to see if anybody has disliked it. So maybe to the public view it's going, but surely as a content creator, I should be able to see. I'll check it after the stream and see. But surely as a content creator, I should be able to see if people have disliked it or not. Because if that is
I
the
can
case,
still see on my videos, Josh, for some reason.
If you, I don't know, it's weird. I never expected him to do it, but a dislike alone has no value. That's literally very true. I think also at least the comment section. So if people do have a problem with the video, at least they can comment. And just hopefully they don't do any toxic stuff.
You can't trust the comments though, because people just get extremely rude with their comments.
Well,
when it comes to actually improving on things, it doesn't actually signal improvement. It just signals people's disdain for others.
So before we ended up, it would be completely and utterly unfair to not talk to do a prediction for Cardiff City at Preston, which is on Saturday at 3:00. So Nathan, I'll be honest, I don't really know much about Preston, to be perfectly honest.
They'll beat Cardiff.
I don't keep up with the Championship as much as I probably should do. But I know Preston maybe sitting 17, probably where they expect it to be. Potentially, if you lose this game in a bad fashion, you could drop into the relegation zone. God forbid that does happen. I think you're turning the corner. You're turning the corner. I think the away fans will be up for it. I have seen the highlights. I think Sean Morrison is starting to maybe get a bit of light, a bit of good football feeling around Cardiff at the moment, which is something that you guys have not had for a while. I think I'll nick it 1-0. Kiefer Moore, he's in a good bit of form at the moment. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, listening to some of the interviews from the players has been absolutely shocking, to be honest, with some of the stuff that's coming out about that idiot Mick McCarthy. But it's the thing I have concerns about is we have an absolutely ridiculous record at Deepdale. I mean, we've had about 2 or 3 3-0 losses there. It's not a good place for us to go, really, especially this early on. But we're turning a corner now where we really need to get some points on the board. And with a change in the style of play, yes, it isn't as the hipsters down the road say is pretty football, but it's still actually watchable and it's the best we've played in about 10 years. But I've got to say, I think we are going to grind it over the line because Preston, they're having their issues. They have their own ownership problems, just like we have. But with the quality in the squad, we should be pushing for promotion, not pushing for relegation like we were under McCarthy. So I'm going to say 2-0 to Cardiff City in this one.
I take it just for anyone who is watching, who would be interested. I know you said to me you aren't going to the game, so I take it you'll have a watch along for the game.
Yeah, there'll be a watch along for that game. It's only the second Saturday fixture I've only missed this season as well. Only reason I'm not going to that is I just can't do another 14-hour round trip, guys. So
well, just as you say, unfortunately my friend tested positive for COVID there 2 days ago, and he's unable to make the Glenavon game. So I'll be taking a long trip up to Warren Point. So I'll be nabbing your Twitter thing. I'll be posting a picture of me on the train and saying Warren Point away like you do when you're going away. So I'm going to be nicking your tweet style. You can copyright me all you want, and that's up to you.
No, I've got some absolute gold ones on there anyway.
Reece, any particular you want to give your Cardiff City prediction? Just we want to throw one out there if you have any.
2-1 Preston.
Knew it.
Come on, man! Support our friends. You know, Cardiff's irrelevant.
No.
Well,
no, I got to give face value. I got to put like a little bit of like. I look at Preston right now; they are playing better football than Cardiff, and I got to go on the line on that. So I'm sticking with like who the better team is at the moment. So yeah, Preston 2, Cardiff 1.
Don't worry, Dave. Don't worry, Nathan, he'll be wrong. Hello, Reece, speak up. Yes, solo Nathan. Reece finally did turn up. He was.
If I'm going to be that wrong, then if I'm going to be wrong, then how did I predict before, like the so-called big journalists like Romano and all that bollocks, that Van Bronckhorst would be the Rangers manager?
That's very true, actually.
Yeah, well, just very quickly, because I did have someone ask in the chat about it. What do you think about him becoming Rangers manager?
I think it's the perfect appointment. I said it when we spoke last week. It's the right choice for one reason. It's somebody who's familiar with the club. It's somebody who's played football and actually plays a good style of football. And as a manager, he's actually been successful. So I think it's a free fit. I don't think risk it anywhere else would have worked. I'm glad they didn't go for Fat Frank, because frankly, Frank Lampard couldn't coach a circus, let alone a football team. So I think it's the right choice that they avoided him. I think the only one that's maybe a bit unlucky to miss out is Gattuso, but I would like for him to be involved at some stage under Van Bronckhorst. It would be kind of cool to have a Van Bronckhorst and Gattuso duo at some stage. But no, I think Van Bronckhorst is the right option purely for the style of football that he wants to bring. It's not just the typical technical style of the Dutch. It's very aggressive as well, and when needs to be, it can get at teams when it needs to be. I relate to the team that won the league for Feyenoord a couple of years ago. He was the manager who won their first title in 18 years. So I think it's the right appointment, and it's somebody that understands Rangers as a club. So yeah, I'm happy with it.
There we go. So that brings them to the Josh Reece prediction / Nathan. But at least you turn the bus on Mars. It's the thought and the effort that counts, isn't it? That's all that matters in life, isn't it?
Well, to be where the only thing is, I was aware everywhere else. It's not my fault. I was in the weekly armchair. We had another stream where I was talking to a former United player, so it would have been 8 o'clock, but we did get a special guest on. So if anything, I had to put this one back, unfortunately. But if anything, at least I'm still here. At least I didn't just decide not to turn up. There's a difference.
That's very true. That's what I'm saying. Effort and commitment is the most important thing. So, Nathan, is there any final words you want to say? We already talked about your watch along. Anything else?
Not really. Just sub to the channel, and please, Cardiff, don't lose.
I hope you don't lose, mate. But I think right now you got the better opposition against you. I think it may be a difficult one for you, but if you don't lose, then fair play. But you've got a bit of a game like.
And Reece, any words of wisdom?
Yeah, it'll be interesting with the new management anyway. So,
who did you get?
Steve Morrison permanently, end of season.
Ooh, okay.
Interim.
We'll see how that ends up then.
Yeah.
fair play. Well,
any words of wisdom from you, Reece?
Every life is like a hole. You just need to find the right key to unlock it. And if you're an asshole, you're not getting unlocked. You're getting downright done in. So stay safe, stay healthy, and don't be a dick.
Right, there we go. Everyone, please do also check out likes of Solo, who I believe runs the Man United agenda, if I'm not mistaken. If my memory's right, make sure to check them out.
That's correct.
Also check out the Dugout Football channel. There's monthly talks, PPL, everyone else in the chat. Also, it's a big community, it's a better community, and a community. So, and Reece is laughing.
Hell straight in. If people know me, there's one thing is I don't do things like everybody else. I am not programmed to be like every other human being. I'm completely different and original.
Good night, thank you. So everyone, I will be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. with Anthony for the Chelsea Leicester preview. We've got combined 11s. Someone's mic's going a bit nuts.
It's not mine.
So
what's happening there?
I don't know whose it was. I blame Josh.
Everyone always blames me. I don't know why.
We'll have to blame you.
I'll be back tomorrow 7 p.m. for the preview with Anthony, where me and him will issue debate about why Chilwell's the better fullback than his fullbacks, because he hates Chilwell. So that'll be a fun debate. Anyway, that's it from us. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy your night. Goodbye.